So just imagine we went through the next 5 JavaScript files and spent the next 3 or 4 minutes copying and pasting from those files into our alljs.js file. At that point, we would have all of our JavaScript here, and now what we need to do is minify it. And there are some tools online to help us do that. So I'm going to go back to the browser and let's do a search for online JS minification. And you can have your pick of any of these options. I'll just go to the top one, jscompress.com. So first, we're going to copy and paste in our JavaScript code. So I'll copy this and I'll paste it in and I'll click the compress JavaScript. And here's our minified JavaScript. Now this converts our JavaScript into something that's impossible to read, and if you end up having to do any debugging, it will be equally impossible with the minified version. The reason is that minification takes out all the unnecessary characters, and part of that is replacing any variables or function names with smaller groups of characters. So you can see if you look closely here, there's a function, and then the function name is R, and it takes E, T, and N as parameters. That's not something that actually exists in any of the JavaScript that we just pasted in, but it is very small. And so this is a smart way to reduce the file size of our JavaScript so that the browser has less of a download. It also removes all of the white space, including new lines. So if you end up with an error in your console in the browser, and you follow that error to figure out where it's happening in the JavaScript, it will say it's happening in this one super long line, making it even more impossible to troubleshoot. But that's okay, because ideally, we'll only use the minified version of our code when we're ready to push our site to production. That is, when we're ready to make it live, to be used in the real world. So let's create a new file to house this minified version of our code. So I'm going to go back to our base directory, and I'll open up the JavaScript file, and let's create a new file called alljs.min.js. So this is a convention for labeling minified versions. And I'll open this up in our editor, and I'll go back to the browser and copy our minified code and paste it in our minified file and save it. Now if we look at the file size between these two, our minified version is 85 kilobytes, whereas our original was 293 kilobytes. So the minified version is about a quarter of the size of the original. Okay, so this adds one more step. When we change our JavaScript in some way, we will need to concatenate everything by copying and pasting, and then running that code through minification as well.